Hello everyone, my name is Nootmad and welcome to episode 3 of my Trash or Treasure series. Today we're going over the legendary Fearmonger shotgun, manufactured by Hyperion. We're going to go over how to get yourself the gun, what its strengths and weaknesses are, and then give my overall thoughts on this weapon. But before we continue, I just want to remind you guys that I test guns just like this and work on shiny new builds over on my Twitch channel. So if you're keen on hanging out with me while I do just that, I'll be putting the link to my Twitch channel in a pinned comment down below. And with all that said and done, let's learn something, shall we? The Fearmonger. What is it and how do you get it? As I mentioned before, the Fearmonger is a Hyperion legendary shotgun that drops from the Bloody Harvest event in two ways. It can either drop from Captain Haunt, who is the end boss at Heck, or it can drop from loot ghosts, which randomly spawn throughout the world, and Heck itself. So those are the two ways you can get it, and as far as the weapon itself goes, it's pretty damn good. As you can see in the gameplay in the background, it's actually slapping enemies. It does a ton of damage, and as you can see on the item card, the stats are actually pretty surprising. The base damage is 33,000 times 4, which is really high for a shotgun. Accuracy is to be expected of a standard Hyperion weapon, but the kicker is its low fire rate. Hyperion weapons do tend to be on the higher end of fire rates with their weapons, but the Fearmonger is a bit of an exception to that, having a fire rate of only 2. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, as despite its low fire rate, it actually mimics Torgue weapons in the fact that it has explosive projectiles. So, in a sense, the Hyperion shotgun, the Fearmonger is a shotgun in Hyperion by name and name only, and functions more like a Torgue shotgun, in the sense that it has these explosive projectiles that explode after a delayed time. So, as you can see in the gameplay in the background, this gun actually does a surprising amount of damage, due to the fact that its explosive projectiles proc skills that are based off explosive themselves. So skills like Skag Dent that deal instant damage on splash work incredibly well with the Fearmonger, and it's basically what I'm using in this build. And if you're curious as to the exact build I'm using my triple threat build, which is a 3-tree build I posted a little while back. Link will be to that video in the top right now, so definitely go check that out if you're looking for a build to use the Fearmonger with. And yeah, it's really solid, honestly. And as far as the recommended anoint goes, you can use realistically any anoint. Now, there's a bit of a confusion about this, and I haven't been able to fully confirm this myself, but if it does indeed possible to get a Fearmonger with the consecutive hits anointment, absolutely do so. I have tested it, and it's really solid, but in the gameplay in the background, I'm simply using a Fearmonger with the damage reduction terror anoint, which works pretty solidly, and as you can see, doesn't impact the weapon in any way. If anything, sticking on a more powerful anoint will only make this gun even stronger than it already shows itself to be. So it's incredibly solid, and honestly I highly recommend grabbing yourself one. As far as class mods go, I recommend using a Minesweeper class mod obviously, or a Rocketeer class mod as well, if you're after having auto bear up at all times, while also being able to benefit from Skag Dent and Torgue cross motions, which are skills that both of those class mods actually boost. Now, that's basically my general thoughts of the weapons, and I guess it's a good idea to quickly summarize this gun in terms of its pros and cons. So as far as the pros go, there are two that I can reasonably think of. One is its very high base damage, as you can see on the card, and it has a very solid magazine size for a shotgun, potentially opening up Blastmaster usage if you boost the mag size to a much higher amount. And as far as the negatives go, there are two that I can think of. One is that it's cryo locked. Now, being cryo locked isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it does hurt its flexibility with enemies that have a high amount of shields, considering the fact that cryo does less damage to shields, and also the fact that raid bosses like Wotan for some reason have resistance to cryo, so using this weapon in that fight will not do you any favors because of that random resistance, which means you're going to be doing a heck of a lot less damage. And the second negative is that it's purely an event weapon, meaning once the Bloody Harvest event leaves us, you won't be able to obtain this gun any longer, which means depending on when you actually watch this video, you might not even be able to get it, or if they raise the level cap in the near future after the Bloody Harvest event ends, which they might, that means that the gun might fall out of relevancy and, not be useful anymore. So that's another negative. But yeah, that's about it I had for the video. Just wanted to quickly share my thoughts with you. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing if you're new. But yeah, with that, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya!